Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here. We finally hear each other, right? So,
Yeah,
uh, all right. So it's great to have you. Welcome today.
thank you.
Heart alchemist, mystical healer, mentor for people in toxic relationship, date your divine match, all in one place today. It's great to have you here today. So what's that about? What's all of that about? Heart alchemist and all of that.
It starts all with emotional mastery for highly sensitive people. I'm a highly sensitive person myself, and I have worked with highly sensitive people, and it comes to emotional mastery because those people get into. I worked with people who experienced or witnessed abuse, any kind of abuse, verbal, psychological, physical, sexual, financial, mental, etc. And it's all about, yeah, mystical heart alchemist, because I come from the mystical Berber tradition, and a student of Kabbalah and Sufi mysticism as well. And why the heart? Because it comes back to our self-worth, and it's all about the wounding and the suffering and all the emotions that are stored in the heart. So I do believe that the alchemy always come back to the heart. It starts there.
Okay, you believe that the alchemy always starts from the heart.
Yes.
Oh, you said. Okay. I mean, what brought to that realization? Like those two words, alchemy. Like there's something going on there. Um, it's not the everyday person that wakes up and start using words like alchemy. There was a moment where you came heart alchemy and you just chose these words. What was the realization? What happened?
The thing is, when transformation comes, happens at the cellular level, and this is where alchemy occurs, and the magic in that work, because I have worked with people. I had a client who did therapies, hypnosis, EMDR, went to magnetizers for 6 years. I mean, she has been in a toxic marriage of 8 years, and that caused her to feel shame in her body for 6 years because she gained 20 kilo in that relationship that she couldn't get rid of. And despite all the things, the investment that she did, and she's like a very self-aware person, reading books, investing in her personal development, but she couldn't like get out of that spiral. So the alchemy is this kind of specific work, very, very, very specific work that triggers an energetic shift, and there is a transformation that occurs at a cellular level. And it's just one tiny small things that those people need to do, and then it opens door. And sometimes it is just a word, just one simple word or one simple sentence of 3 words, and I see like this face expression of my clients like, oh, how come I didn't see that? We I think it's like the metaphor of the camel who cannot see his own back, but he can see only his brother's back. So this is what it comes to blind spots, and this is the work that I do. So alchemy is the transformation at cellular level, because we go to the root problem of codependency, which creates this kind of dynamic in those toxic or unhealthy relationships in general.
You mentioned that the client had they added 20 kilos because of a toxic relationship. Like how does that work? That they couldn't get rid of.
The thing is, when people go through abusive relationships, it affects so much the self-image at a different level. So, and of course, the self-worth. So people need to see where actually they are selling themselves very cheap, if I can put it in that sentence. I mean, and the thing is, because it's kind of intriguing, because when we stock so much emotions in the physical body, what actually we do outside emotional detox will not help. Either change in food, either change in maybe a workout routine, or going to change a new diet or whatever. It doesn't work, because the emotion is there. It is stored in our memory. And the more we do things to numb this pain, to not feel it, the more like everything is stuck. It's like a circle, a closed circle. So there is no way to disrupt that kind of vicious circle. And people, I mean, the people that I meet, they have really, they are not victims. They don't consider themselves victims, because they went through that, and they have worked things through, and they wanted the best for their children, for those who are parents, and they wanted the best for themselves, for those who are singles, or they want the best for their relationship, for the people who have been through abuse, and they have an amazing supportive partner. Because it's kind of heavy to take this luggage with us to the next relationship. It's the same when you invite a guest into your home and you make a big party, and then you cannot just invite another guest right after. You need to do some cleaning, get back things, and you need to reset yourself to receive another. It's the same. This is how we invite people in our life.
The people who come to you usually, they have some sort of emotional trauma. Can I call it that? I'm trying to, let me see if I
Yeah,
understand. Right? They have some
yeah.
sort of emotional trauma. Or what would you call it?
Yeah, it is trauma. It is trauma, because the traumatic experience, people feel it on their physical. They are too much in the head, they are thinking too much, and it affects their health. And they're also the way, I mean, I had a client, he was in his 40s and have two beautiful kids, and always in state like worry and thinking too much, what's going to happen with my kids? Co-parenting is an uphill with his ex-partner. And am I going to have diabetes? Am I going to die with a stroke or something like that? Because when we are too much in the brain, we forget to breathe. Like, even like the thing that happens is that those kind of dynamic of relationship, it puts the body of the highly sensitive person into a state of constant vigilance, alarmed. It's like the body is always in this freeze flight mode. It's like fighting for survival all the time, and that costs a lot of energy. So end of the day, they don't have that much energy left to do anything except doing their daily basic things that they need to do, going to job or the daily routines. So the expression of trauma in the physical body, some people, they cannot sleep without sleeping pills. Some people I had a client who had a really severe PTSD. She had to call the ambulance every couple of months. She gets a panic attack. She couldn't really breathe. She had to use sleeping pills to sleep. So it's kind of heavy, because like when we left that relationship and we still have this emotional luggage with us, it's a heavy burden. And it happens because highly sensitive people, they are kind of emotional leaders, and they numb down their sensitivity. And when they do that, they don't feel their emotions that much anymore, and they get too much into the head, and the body is in that state of alarm. And yeah, so that's it.
You bring pain back to alignment.
It's I don't call it alignment, because alignment, I think, is a misunderstood word in the in the world of spirituality, and it's kind of constantly seeking for something um, bad, or something to fix, or something to repair. I just remind them of who they are. I just help them to remember who they are, and to value themselves, and to let go of all that. As a healer, I help, because part of what I do is transformational mentoring, self-empowerment mentoring, and also healing. As I'm a healer, I can tap into their emotional body and help them release those emotions, which happens like instantly. And sometimes, as I don't have like a particular system that I use and I use it for everybody, it's every person that comes into my field. I'm actually, it's like I'm connected to their energetic field, and then I get the downloads. What do they need? What do they need to do? And sometimes I suggest them to do some kind of homework. And then I also leave them, like give them space to stimulate their creativity and find the right things that they like to do too, because they help themselves, like, transform very rapidly that way.
No, so the people that come to you, you don't have a set thing that says anybody that walks through that door, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do to them. They
No.
walk in, and you observe, and based on that, you cater for them, and you give them what they need to get to heal, to whether
Yeah.
that emotionally, and a lot. You even what here's what I hear. I also hear that a lot of things that manifest themselves in the physical body, and even and mind, sometimes they all come from a certain a place. They all come from a past, a toxicity or a traumatic experience, and now there is layers and layers of that, and now we're trying to do something else, layering on it. So you just go to the root, and you whatever it takes to just get to the root and pull it out. And that might take one word, that might take one sentence, that might take.
Yeah, like if I can put it in some sentences, I can say that the first step is bring them back in a state of harmony, because it's all about the state of being. It's not about what you do, what you want to do, what you dream about. It's about the state of being in the now, right now. So I try to help them to be back in a state of harmony. So which means that they get rid of any PTSD, any stored trauma, any kind of suitcase that they have been dragging with themselves along the way. Get rid of it. Everything that doesn't serve them in their next journey, they let go of it. This is number one. And number two is that if there is any kind of a mess when it comes to co-parenting with their ex-partner, when it comes to decluttering their physical, digital environment. So this is the first step, is it's like, I can finally breathe. I can finally breathe. I can finally smell the flowers when I go out. I can finally see the sky, the horizon. I can finally be myself. And this happens in 1 month, where they get really, really, it's like, one of my clients said, I don't even make my coffee the same way. I don't even drink my coffee the same way. So this is, and it comes in a very deliberate way. There is no resistance, because I do follow, as I told you, I don't have like kind of framework. Everyone is specific, and everyone has his specific energetic blueprint. And then the next step, we go to the next month, we go to, or the next step, we go to the root of codependency. What has created this codependency to begin with? Why do they get into this kind of a dynamic of unhealthy, toxic, or abusive relationships? And every person has a story. So I have the gift to go right to the spot and pull the thing. And then this actually, in this stage, they shift also the nature of their relationship with all their surroundings. Like somebody, he had an ex-girlfriend, she comes out of the blue back to his life, and they were negotiating a new relationship to start over. Or somebody who didn't speak to his sister for 15 years because there was a misunderstanding, and all of a sudden he has this loving, caring sister in his life. It's like it shifts the dynamic of all relationships, because when they work on that codependency, they work on their relationship with themselves. And then the next stage is where it gets really funny, when they go to date and they can actually activate their intuition, and they can use this gift of high sensitivity to read what's going on. Is this person emotionally available for me to invest in or not? Am I following a pattern where I'm trying to fix somebody or to help somebody fix themselves so I can feel worthy and I can feel like useful in life? So there is some kind of patterns and different dynamics that we look at, and I help them to see just once, because it doesn't matter how much good looking this partner is, which high degree they have, or how sexy they are, or because it is energetics. And some people, they say, yeah, but he's not like my ex, he's really kind, or he's doing different things. To not fall in this trap of comparing to the ex-partner, and really being clear. The mind is clear and the heart is open. I'm open to receive love, I'm open to receive support without having any kind of attachment. And at the same time, I trust my intuition when it comes to reading the people that are in front of me. So I'm going to date my life partner, and I'm not going to waste my energy 2 years or something like that, repeating the same patterns over and over and over again.
How did you become a healer?
How did I become a healer? Actually, I come from a family of shaman and healers. But I don't remember in my lineage like a healer. It was a gift that has been lost for some generations because of the war and all that. But it is in my blood. And it came instantly because I do not do group coaching and I do not teach anything online, even though I studied a lot and I have a lot of content. But I do believe that the way things work is done very fast, because I work with people, 4 sessions, maybe 6, and the maximum is 12 sessions, and it's done. I'm not doing hand holding, like they are leaders. So I just help them to believe again in themselves so they can lead their life. They don't need a coach for the rest of their life or somebody to hold their hand for the rest of the life. This is part of what I call the self-empowerment thing. So healing is a gift that I had since, I felt it and I lived with it since I was a child, but I didn't have like this kind of knowledge and mastery how to use it, on how to like renew my energy and everything. But this is something that I have learned in the last years. Yeah. So I'm actually a resonance healer. I channel singing in my ancient Berber singing, and singing which activates the third eye, opens the heart chakra and grounds the person to their root, which is part of the ancestral healing that I do as well. And I am a herbal alchemist, which is a gift from my female ancestors. So I use aromatic herbs, essential oils, or flowers, or I recommend some kind of food or fruit or something that can help in this alchemy in a physical, at a physical level. And I do have also the ability to tune into the emotional body of the people, so I can either guide them into a guided meditation or any kind of tapping, or I can myself channel those energies via my physical body and release them as a healer. Yeah.
What is HSP? What's that?
HSP stands for highly sensitive people. And highly sensitive people, they represent 15 to 20% of the population. And this kind of trait exists in all species, in all animals. There is always this 20%. And so highly sensitive people, they, I mean, there's no highly sensitive that is like another one. Everyone has his specific sensitivity blueprint, if I put it like that. And they are highly intuitive. And the way that I remember it, like when they were kids, they can feel, for example, if they come home and if there was a fight or somehow, they can feel it even though nobody told them, because they can sense energy, this energy, and some of them have highly receptive brain. So either they receive so much auditive or visual input, they get a lot of input in their brain, which is the reason why I tell for my clients, sometimes you need some time to breathe and be just by your own. And if you don't have any time and you have so many things to do, when you go to the toilet, just pretend that you have constipation and stay a bit longer. Or just stay in your car before, when you park, before you leave for a moment, close your eyes. And we need to give some rest to the brain to process all the data that we receive. And each highly sensitive has his own way to manage that and restore their vitality.
And what made you want to work with them? Are you one yourself? Or is there, like, what's the connection?
Yes, I'm a highly sensitive myself,
Wow.
of course. Yeah.
So did you overcome, what did you have to overcome to get to the point where you say, you know what, I think I've kind of gotten to the point where I can help the other part of this 20% of us?
I learned it the hard way, because as I'm a highly sensitive and healer, I grew up in a big family. I was very admired by everyone. I had a pillow and a toothbrush everywhere. So I didn't know that because I was healing, I was called to be in some places at a certain time. And at some point in my life, I have chosen to kind of just work and be in my grandma's apartment for such a year. And intuitively, I used herbs and stuff like that. I have been called the witch at the time. I mean, I didn't know anything about it. It was just my intuition. But then I got into a very, very, very challenging relationship. I married a man that I loved, and it didn't work. It was extremely hard, and especially I was a first-time mother. So I left the relationship being suicidal. I lost my identity. I didn't know who I am anymore. It was in a country where I didn't even speak the language. I didn't have a job, I didn't have money, I didn't have any family member, I didn't have friends except the few common friends. And I lost connection with my family, with my all that is related to my world before I met that person. I lived 3 months in a shelter for abused women, and I had to work hard on myself, because the only thing that kept me alive was the unconditional love that I had for my son. And I wanted my son to grow up with a happy mother, surrounded with people who love her and respect her for just what she is. And that was that kind of beautiful energy. That's why I call my son my sunshine. And then I started, since I got into that relationship, I didn't understand in the beginning what's going on, what's the dynamic of it. So I spent so much time to understand, because at a certain time I took responsibility for what I have manifested, for what I have co-created, even though the experience was extremely tough and hard. and painful, I said, I need to see what's going on with me. I don't want to go through that again in my life. That was a firm decision. And so I studied a lot and I worked on myself, and I invested in remembering who I am. But then I realized that this kind of relationship, doesn't matter how hard it was a healing relationship itself, because it brought me back to remember the true self that I am and express that with integrity, authenticity, and complete freedom.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, and then it come naturally where people just were old friends that I haven't seen in 7 years showed up in my life again because they needed my help, and somebody introduced me to someone, and then and then the people that needed me to help them just showed up naturally. I didn't know at all that I'm gonna become like a coach or a mentor. I'm a biologist. My background is in neurobiology. And I had a career in the pharmaceutical industry. So it's kind of coming from that kind of scientific background and go back to spirituality. And the thing that triggered me at some point in the spiritual world is there's kind of promotion of victim consciousness, and there is a lot of misleading teachings. So why I don't like to teach, because nobody is supposed to do things the way I did them for myself. I guide people to find their own ways to do things, because leaders are not followers. And the people who waste their time following others, they will just feel like lost and lost and lost, and they will question themselves, what's wrong with me? Why it doesn't work? Why I'm not weaving? Why I'm not, we come back to the word alignment. Why I'm not in alignment again? Like it's kind of something that's gonna be on alignment again. It's not how it works. We are human beings. We evolve, we learn, we remember, we learn how to become a child again, to be playful, to explore the world with curiosity, with wonderment, with a lot of excitement, and bring this passion again, vitality and passion to enjoy every single moment of our life.
Wow. And you mentioned living there, feeling completely shattered. You know, what happened? You know, what made you feel that shattered?
You mean when I left my ex relationship?
Yeah.
It was because of a loss of identity, because everything that I built up before, that in my subconscious mind was the way I build my worth. It's kind of, I have a university degree, I have an experience, I had money, I had the possibility to get a job just like that, I had my freedom to travel anywhere where I want. And then all of a sudden, like living a relationship, being completely broke without family members. I didn't even tell my family what I went through because I didn't want to worry them, as they were living in another country. So I went through all of it alone because I took responsibility. It was a marriage that I have chosen myself, and I'm gonna deal with whatever came from it myself. And it's kind of hard to start from ground zero. It feels like you leave a relationship. I have been in Clubhouse in a room, and I heard a woman said, when I left my ex-partner, I couldn't even go to the store to do my shopping. This is how, because when there is so much, it can be control. It can be from a place of control. The other partner is taking care of everything. It can be from a place of service, like this person wants to serve and do and take care, but they don't leave space for the other partner to show themselves. And then the other partner lose self-confidence, lose everything. And the brain, there's a kind of pathway and that in the brain that needs to be rewired again to create life again. Like for my sake, I didn't know who I am anymore. I was struggling to get back the person that I was at a glorious period of my life, because I fight it hard to study, to go to do all these things that people do. I mean, career and all that, and and then nothing left. I am in a foreign country. I don't speak the language, and all my degrees and my experience are not valid anymore, because it wasn't like a French-speaking country as I'm like French-speaking. So it was like, okay, what I'm gonna do now? You do not even know what to do if you don't find back who you are. And the thing is that for me, I was in a kind of schizophrenic dilemma. I wanted to get back the person that I was before, but at the same time, it's kind of it doesn't happen, because time doesn't go back. And being in that state where like you look around and everything like is broken, and even what is left, you will question it. It's like a house that's all broken, and if there's some kind of walls or foundation, you will question. I questioned everything in my life at that point. Did my parents love me? Did this person love me? I questioned everything, because I wanted to start all over with a solid foundation. I'm gonna build something strong, because I want to be happy. I want to fall in love again, and I want to enjoy my life to the fullest, and I want to explore my potential and put it out in the world again. So this like takes, you need to like to source all this energy to do this work.
Wow. And what country was that?
What did it say?
You mentioned being in a new country now where you do not speak the language. What country were you referring to?
I'm living in Sweden right now.
So Sweden. So you're still in the same country?
Yes.
So Sweden, beautiful, beautiful, wonderful place. You know, Stockholm.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah. So now you found yourself through all of that. You found meaning again, and now you're helping people with that.
Yes.
HSP, right?
Yes, highly sensitive people. People probably they don't like, they have emotional sensitivity, if I can put it like that, and they can feel what other people are going through without them having to say a word, and they kind of adjust their behavior to that, which is something that we learn. We learn how to not modulate our behavior and just express ourselves, because we tend sometimes to be compassionate, but there is misunderstood compassion that costs a lot for us and for the other person.
Compassion means your own identity or sense of truth, where you're now you're modifying yourself because you're trying to be compassionate.
And now I can say the most beautiful thing is that me and my ex-husband, I can say we are friends, but there is no tension between us anymore, and we cooperate in the most beautiful and amazing way when it comes to taking care of our son together. And this is something that I like. When I left that relationship, I could give my eyes for that. I could pay with my own eyes for my son to grow up in this kind of a healthy environment, without tension, without with full respect of each other and all that.
Wow. So now you also date your divine match. How did that come about?
Dating the person that is supposed to be with you is it's about cleaning our emotional closet. Like, you clean first your emotional closet, because it doesn't just work, because part of self-empowerment is not to consider ourselves as a kid looking for a nurturing mother or a protective father in a relationship. because yeah, so it is more about being an adult, and it's good to enjoy oneself's company. When you are not scared to be with yourself anymore, then you are happy to meet someone else. But it's important to not drag, because some people, they get too much comfortable being alone after leaving this extreme relationship, and they drag it for so long, and then maybe they are not sure if they are going to commit in a relationship, and then they attract either people who are not interesting or a match for what they aim for, or they attract. I had a client who dated 3 women. He was in extremely challenging marriage of 10 years, and the 30 years were uphill, and he dated 3 women. He was a guy who had really high standards and very loyal, very hard values, and he knew which kind of partners that he was choosing, because we have the choice. People come to understand at the end, you have to choose the right person. And if bad things happened in the past, it's because you haven't made the right choice. So this is what it comes from, like, and sometimes it's like, I mean, it's a teaching. So everything is on apprend tout dans la vie. We learn everything in life. Anything that you don't master, you can go out there and learn it.
So what's your message to the world? What's your message?
My message to the world is my message to the world. My message for highly sensitive people is that I can say to them, there is absolutely nothing wrong with the way you love, with the intensity of your emotion, with the passion that you have, with the care, the amount of care that you give to people, trying to make others comfortable, trying to probably sometimes please others. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the way you love. You just need to learn yourself as match, put yourself as a priority when it's needed, have healthy boundaries, say yes when you need to say yes, say no when you need to say no. And if you say yes or no and then it doesn't feel right, you can change your mind. Just speak up your truth. And highly sensitive, they are gifted to choose the right words. So just speak the truth with the exact right words that do not hurt others, and take responsibility for your life. Do not be like a child, putting responsibility to others in the hand of others, completely in the hand of others. Everything that happens to us, every experience that we experience in life, we co-created it with others. At some point, if some people, they will always attempt to cross your boundaries. They will always attempt to do things maybe that you don't like, but it's always up to you to say, here, you don't cross, I'm sorry. And it's also important to know what is their value system before they get into a relationship, and make sure that the other person value the same things that are deep to them. And they need also to communicate. In a relationship, you need to know, because the other person cannot read the softness and this, because you are sensitive, you can understand things when they are here, not here. But the other person maybe understand it when they are here. It doesn't mean that we are better than others or something like this. Is just how the nature is made. So communicate. What are the things that makes you happy? What are the things that annoys you? Put words. I always say non-spoken words are never heard. Do not expect others to read what you don't say. Speak it out. And take responsibility for what's gonna come after you speak out.
So speak out, take responsibility for what you speak. Change your mind, change your mind. set clear boundaries. Yes, compassionate, but be rooted in yourself, and be true to yourself in all of that. And finally, I mean, if you want to meet your divine match, they should come to you. If you want to heal your heart and your alchemy, not that that's where they come and meet the expert. So for those who want to meet and work with you, how do they do that? Like how is it possible? Can they message you?
Yeah, of course, they can find me. They can send me an email. The most like old classical way to contact somebody, sophia.tah98@gmail.com. They can find me in Facebook, Sophia Tah. They can find me in Clubhouse because I like to speak with people. I'm a connector and I like to speak with people in real time. So they can find me either emailing me, they DM me anytime in Instagram or Messenger, or send me an email, and we will just speak, you and me, just you and me.
It's great to have you share your story, share your beliefs, your message with us. It's amazing to have you.
Yeah.